Hey, welcome to Going on Daily. Back for the Saturday. Look, gotta. I think I'm flying solo. Trying to find out what's going on with my co-host today, Rick. Probably going through some technical difficulties as hit sports unfolded last night as we lost our host, Eric, last night. And so who knows with the storms rolling in, but it's going on daily and we're going. It is going on daily, episode 11, Rebel Yell, reference from Billy Idol. But the title always has something to do with the story, so that will be coming up as well. We have astronauts. Yes, stranded. Um, we have a story about the Red Sea with the problems they have in there. Edmonton Oilers tied up the series. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to have some Kevin Costner updates with Yellowstone, and of course, box office. Last week's box office. We're going to talk about some of those movies that were the top 10. So we're going to go through that as well. And I hope everybody stays for the ride as we have some viewers already on. You are watching us on YouTube at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook at RI Broadcasting, Twitch at RI_broadcasting. And of course, can't forget about Twitter/X at Broadcasting RI and Kick at Rhode Island Broadcasting. So you can catch us live all the time, like all the time. We're here back on Monday. We'll have Mike and the return of Becky. Can't wait for that. Got to tune in for that. I'm sure she's going to be talking about her Vegas trip and probably talking about what to expect in Game 7. So don't miss that as well on Monday. And let's start off with this story. It was very intriguing, right? I mean, you're talking about astronauts, right? So apparently, this Boeing Starliner, I mean, had a little difficulties. And when they said, it had, when upon liftoff, it lifted off and it took 25 hours to get to the space station. So during that 25 hours, they had 5 helium leaks, is what they said. 5 helium leaks. And it caused a little bit of issues, of course, but they made it there safe and sound. But now they're saying that they're going to have a hard time getting back. This sounds like a movie, right? I think it was Apollo 13? Sounds just like that. But they're trying to work on the problems, and, uh, it's not a good look for Boeing. So they have 45 days basically of dock time available to them. The window to return is closing, and they were expected twice to lift off and come back already, but they have extended their stay. Now they are waiting until June 26th is the next window. Look, it's not good. And then when you think about what they said afterwards, recently. So now they are trying to fix the propulsion system helium leaks. And then they said, and the 5 thruster failures to its reaction control system. Well, to me, that sounds like 10 problems. It doesn't sound like 5 problems. So now they said most of the problems have been restored, but they don't know how it happened. Like, is it safe for these astronauts to get back in that thing and fly back and land? I mean, are we looking at an impending disaster with this Starliner? It's not a good look. I'm a little concerned that for the astronauts' safety. Um, the two astronauts that went there were Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. Uh, Look, they were scheduled to be back on June 13th, and here we are, June 22nd, and then next time that they can do it, is coming up in 4 days. So hopefully we can get these astronauts back home safely on the ground. And I think some work needs to be done on this Starliner thing. Um, Boeing is not getting a good review so far with this, and hopefully the astronauts return safely. You don't want to see anything happen to the astronauts, especially. So hopefully it all gets rectified, and I hope they're sure. I hope they're sure that they can get back. I hope they're sure, because that would be terrible. And what happens with the 45 days? I mean, why do they only have 45 days? I mean, is there like a lease agreement? I don't know with this International Space Station thing. I don't know if it's because there's just not enough room. I don't know. I don't know. That would be an interesting thing too. So we got a deep dive into more info, and hopefully we get back results and we can bring them to you. So that is, of course, the astronauts. I mean, they're stranded right now, and it's just like that movie. Mm, You just hope that they can return. So let's move on to the. This is a scary thing, right? This is probably going to affect consumers, by the way. So the Howdy Rebels, hence the rebel yell. They sank a second ship this week in the Red Sea, and now the shipping groups are asking for help. Um, so, reportedly, 4 seafarers have died from the two ships combined. International Chamber of Shipping and World Shipping Council are asking for some help to control that area in the Red Sea. The Howdy Rebels are basically responsible for this. They still holding hostages from a ship they seized, and I mean, that's been a long time. I think that was back in March. So I'm a little. I mean, it might even be going back to like November. But this is becoming a problem, and we had a ship, that was sunk in March, one that was sunk in November. Um, I mean, they're causing all kinds of problems. And last week, there was a Greek-owned coal carrier was sunk too. So they are wreaking havoc in the Red Sea, and the costs are skyrocketing for shipping. They've gone up 233% since this has been going on since November. 233%. It's causing all kinds of delays. There's a backup in Asia with shipping. And now they have rerouted the ships going around the southern tip of Africa. I mean, that just piling up the costs, and I don't know. It's getting ugly, and I'm assuming, and you should never do that. Never assume, but I'm guessing. Better to guess that they're probably putting some pressure on the United States to do something about it. It shouldn't really be our problem, but that is, the Houthi rebels are supporting, I guess, Iraq. And I mean, it's a mess out there in the Middle East now. I mean, we have all kinds of things going on in the Middle East, and now it's affecting the shipping really bad, and costs are going to start skyrocketing for certain items that are being affected. And not to mention, when you're losing a whole bit of coal, which is actually good for the environment, mind you. I'm not saying that, but but that is a lot of fuel source, and it's just gonna come back to the consumer. It doesn't hit anyone else but the consumer. So, so hopefully they can get that rectified out there, and so wow, how about all this, right? Oh, so hopefully we can get Rick to jump in. I don't know if he can. I don't know what the status is. we haven't heard from him. We haven't heard from him. I hope he's okay. That's the one thing, right? You gotta hope that he's all right. Um, so if you wanna help support the show, please by all means share this episode. If you're watching it, and I know there's a ton of people right now that are watching it, if you're watching, please share the show. Let everybody get the shot on this. We have four great hosts. Besides myself, we have three others in Rick Rosner, Mike Palmer, and Becky Turner. Mike and Becky return Monday for an episode, and they got some great stuff to talk about. And we're gonna find out what happened on Becky's trip. So support, share, please share the show. If you want to help support even more, by all means, get on our Patreon at RI Broadcasting and support this show, Sports Unfolded and Falls Count Anywhere. Please do, and you can also help by, if you're watching us on Twitch, you can donate bits. And if you're watching us on Facebook, you can donate stars to help the show's cost and support the show so we keep this going. Follow us on YouTube and, of course, on Facebook, along with Twitter, Twitch, and Kick. We still have more to talk about, but the next thing I need to talk about, this is a good one, because what turned out to be a possible route of the Stanley Cup Finals, with Florida jumping out to a 3-0 lead. Edmonton is doing what is so unlikely. Coming back down 3-0, they have tied up the series, and the man Connor McDavid really got this team going, with his like 8 points in the last two games. Last night, everybody else seemed to have stepped up. And when I say everybody else, they had five different goal scorers, and Connor McDavid was not one of them. So it came from everywhere. And it's nice to see that the team really stepped up and chipped in. Um, Fogel got a goal. Henrique, Hyman, McLeod, and Nurse all had goals. McLeod's and Nurse's were empty net goals. So it went from 3-1 to 5-1 in a hurry at the end of the game. Look, Edmonton has a shot at coming back and winning this down 3-0, right? They could win the Stanley Cup, and it goes back to Florida. All the pressure is on Florida. And we talked about this last night on Sports Unfolded, and I felt if Edmonton pushed it to Game 7, Edmonton would take it, because they have obviously figured out how to beat Florida and that defense, that smothering, clogging up neutral zone and just really limiting the shots of their opponents. Well, they busted out of that, and here they are now, a chance to to take the series in Florida. Florida's back on their heels. I'm not sure they're going to figure it out. Paul Maurice, though, is a great coach. And if anybody can do it, he can. So game 7 should be an awesome game. And you got to think whoever scores that first goal is going to have all the momentum and the pressure is going to be on. But right now, the pressure is all on Florida because, when you have a 3-0 lead and now you cough it up and it's now going to game 7, it makes it really difficult for the players to be comfortable and confident. And right now, those players are reeling. Bobrovsky is reeling. That defense hasn't been playing well, and they're making a lot of mistakes. And I really thought that Edmonton would have done well against Florida because of that speed, and that is turning out to be the reason they have come back. They've taken that speed and they've harnessed it and used it to their advantage. And when you have a great player like McDavid, it's hard to keep that scoring touch down. And Florida did it for the first 3 games, and then it's been goal after goal for this team, in the last 3 games. So now, 1 game left. What's going to win out? Can Florida actually start playing better? They're turning the puck over. When you turn the puck over to speed, it's different. It's different. So, look for McDavid and Draisaitl, and Hyman. I would look for those 3 guys in particular to have a great game, and they're going to be gunning for this. And remember, Gretzky did not win on his first attempt. None of those greats did. Connor McDavid can really put himself on a that level of history. When you're breaking Gretzky's records and stuff, I mean, that's impressive. And right now, Connor McDavid is one of the most impressive players, in the league. And he's just missing that one thing, and that's that cup, right? He's just missing that. Once he puts his name on that, then it's on. Then he's in that conversation, right? Best players of all time. Because he certainly can score. And when you're going to win, Art Ross trophies as the top scorer in the league, those are going to get noticed. And then what seals the deal is that Stanley Cup. Now, I'm sure he wants more than one. When you want to talk Gretzky, you gotta get into that 4 conversation, because there's some players in there that have some Stanley Cups that you need to catch them to get mentioned into the greats. But he's almost there. He's almost there. So 1 game left, and that is on Monday night in Florida. Gonna be watching that one, right? Gotta be. Whatever happens, I hope it's a great game. And they should both teams should be proud of being there. So, Mike, I'm not all a hater, I mean, they beat some great teams to get there. Edmonton got there by beating Dallas, Vancouver, and LA Kings. All good, solid teams. And Florida beat Tampa Bay, Boston, and the Rangers. Those are some hefty teams right there. So, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully we'll get a great game, and obviously it's going to be a new champion, as last year's team, Las Vegas, didn't make it. So we'll keep you in touch. We've got Tuesday morning coming, and we'll have the details on all of that. And of course, Becky will give her thoughts on the Stanley Cup playoffs on Monday as well. And yeah, so that is the Edmonton Oilers tying up the Stanley Cup Finals. You gotta look. Stanley Cup playoffs is one of the best things to watch, right? It's right up there with Super Bowls and March Madness. I mean, NBA Finals is great as well. It's been a pretty good sports year, right? So let's talk some box office. Look, I mean, there are some good movies out there. I don't know if anybody has caught some of these, but I'll tell you, I went to see Bad Boys Ride or Die, and let me tell you, Martin Lawrence. Oh my God, he's a funny, funny man, and he killed it in that movie. I enjoyed that movie. Probably that might be my favorite one out of all of them. Believe it or not, loved it. And I'm not going to spoil anything on you, but I would suggest going to see it. If you enjoyed the first three, you will love this one. Let me tell you, you will love it. So last week, June 14th through 16th, this was the box office hits, right? Um, Inside Out took it with 154.2 million for the opening weekend. Inside Out just raked it in. They raked it in, and I'll tell you, next was Bad Boys Ride or Die, 33.8. So it destroyed the box office, right? So Inside Out really is already a big hit week one. And it's animated, so you're going to have a lot of kids going, and the adults obviously have to go. So so it makes sense that an animated movie really does well, and they usually do. um, Third on that list was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes with 5.5 million. That one has raked up 158 million so far since being out, which is only 4 million ahead of Inside Out in the first week. Garfield was next up with 4.8 million. That has grossed 78 million as well. So Garfield is doing all right. I don't think it was doing as well as they thought it would do, but yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm not a Garfield fan. So 78 million for that movie seems like it's doing all right. If had 3.6 million, and this is the shocking one. This has only made 101 million. Only made. But I really thought this was going to do much better. I would have thought this would have made 200 million, and it hasn't. It hasn't gotten that. I don't know. I think maybe people just shied away from it. And let me tell you, it was great. I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. Ryan Reynolds is one of the most entertaining actors out there in my book. I think he's funny. He's got, of course, Deadpool coming with Wolverine. So I will be there for that one. After If, it was Watchers, $3.5 million. Watchers has only grossed 13.5. That has to be a disappointment for that movie. And Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, $2.6 million. It's only grossed 63.3 million. That's probably a disappointment for that movie as well. And The Fall Guy was next with 1.6 million. And that has taken in 88 million thus far. I'll tell you, some of those are disappointing numbers. And I gotta say, I'm actually surprised, that some of them have only done that. And but it's a new week. Released this week is first of all June 20th. So 2 days ago, Federer 12 final days. I'm sure that's doing well overseas. Um, look, it's about Roger Federer, the tennis player, right? Ending his career. I will probably see it when it comes out on streaming services. So I will see that one. Also out this weekend, The Bike Riders, a drama. I don't know. Then there's The Exorcism, is out, and Kinds of Kindness also out there. I don't know. I'm skipping the movies this weekend because I'm not sure those are going to be that good. Um, I'm looking forward to the Kevin Costner movie that's coming, and that is Horizon. That comes out on June 28th. Um, Horizon and American Saga. The first one will be out June 28th. I believe the next one comes out in October or November of this year. So he's got a series of them coming. Also out on the 28th is A Quiet Place Day One. So I saw the first two movies. I thought they were really good. So I'm thinking maybe checking out that one as well. So there's still more coming. We have Despicable Me coming up in July. Beverly Hills Cop, which will hit Netflix and on July 3rd. Going to be looking for those two, and also, of course, the Horizon. But they have Boneyard coming. They have, of course, Deadpool is coming with, oh my God, Wolverine. So we have some movies coming this year, and Twisters, of course, July 19th. I'm gonna check that one out. Hopefully, it's as good as the original Twister movie with Helen Hunt. And then the 26th, of course, is Deadpool and Wolverine. So we got a whole bunch of movies coming up for the summer blockbuster season. Borderlands, of course, August. So that one I want to see. Jack Black is in that one. He does the voice of a character. So apparently, actually, from what I'm seeing, Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2 comes out on August. So August is the second one. So, and The Crow rounding out at the end of August. So they remade that. Hopefully they don't have the tragedies on that one as they did in the first one. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, so that pretty much is it. Transformer 1 comes out September 30th to end the summer season. And then we start rounding out the rest of the year, right? So I mean it's just blowing by. It's blowing by. So get those comments out. I know there's a ton of people watching. So get those comments, throw them down. We can give you shout outs. Be part of the show. Be part of all of this. That's what we're here for. We can talk about what you want to talk about. Yes. So, going solo today, so it will be a shorter show than normal. But we are here, and last thing I really want to talk about is this Kevin Costner thing with Yellowstone. Yellowstone will be returning to finish out the series. They thought they were going to have a longer time. I thought they thought for sure they were going to have a sixth season, and so did the you know so did Paramount. To be honest with you, this is coming to them as a surprise. But Kevin Costner will not be returning to the part 2 of season 5. So they are going to be without John Dutton, who was in the middle of an impeachment. And now this really throws a wrench into it because Kevin Costner started his Horizon series. I don't know. I don't know if that's really all the facts. It just seems to me that wouldn't the movie stuff be done filming at this point? So why wouldn't you jump back in and film at least an episode and give your character some closure? I don't know. I think it's money. And Kevin Costner, I hope your movie, your Horizon series is good. First of all, because I love westerns and I need a good western. A lot of them aren't that great. But his are loved Open Range, one of my favorite westerns. So I'm really hoping this movie is going to be huge and great with the Horizon. But kind of disappointed that not going to finish out the series. So he is not going to be returning, even though he says it's because of his schedule with his project Horizon. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure there's going to be more that comes out on this as well. So we're going to try to keep on top of this story. But all the other characters will return to finish off season 5 and the series. And we'll see what happens. I mean, is there going to be, something down the road for this? I mean, they've already had a couple of spin-offs, you know, so why not another one? And some of those spin-offs were really good. I wish they would have continued the stories. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. And they had their goals on what they wanted to accomplish. And but Yellowstone is a fantastic series. I guess it's the number one drama on TV. That's going to take a hit coming down the stretch without Kevin Costner there. People aren't going to, I think a lot of people are going to like skip the ending. So we'll see. You know, we're going to find out. So, that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, it's a shorter show today as we're unable to get uh, Rick on the show, and so therefore a little shorter. But hopefully everybody stayed entertained. We have coming up Monday. You don't want to miss that show because we have a great show with Mike and Becky. Look, I mean, you want to be here for that. You want to be here for that. They have a great show planned, and so Monday morning, 9 a.m. Mike Palmer, Becky Turner will be on, and I will be behind the scenes, helping them out with whatever they need. So thank you for watching. Those of you, I mean, there was a lot of people watching. So if you watched us on YouTube, at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook at RI Broadcasting, Twitch at RI_Broadcasting, Twitter /X at Broadcasting RI and Kick at Rhode Island Broadcasting. Please share the show, throw some comments down throughout the show, we'll give you your shout outs, and get on that Patreon. And, and please subscribe to all of our social media and let us know what you think. And we'll be here Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. if you're in Edmonton like Becky. We'll see you next time on Going On Daily.